Okay, I think we're going to get started. Hi, everybody. Yay! Thanks for coming tonight. I'm so glad to see all your smiling faces. Okay, we always start these off with just a little bit of introduction to fabric and what we're doing and why we're here and all of that. So I'm going to start with that, and then we're going to get our event started. So first off, my name is Angela Johnson. I'm the co-founder here at Fabric. Fabric is a nonprofit fashion incubator. Fabric actually is an acronym. It stands for the Fashion and Business Resource Innovation Center. And we do a lot of things here, but mostly this place is democratizing fashion, which just means we're kind of making it more accessible. This industry is hard to get into. There's very scarce resources. We're trying to change that. We're trying to provide more resources and make it easy for somebody to start a brand who maybe has never done that. Maybe you didn't go to design school. Maybe you haven't worked as a production manager. Maybe you have no idea what grading is or a pattern is or any of those things or tech packs. And you can come here without any knowledge and develop a product, manufacture it in small batches to test the market. You can learn everything that you need to start your business and start a business here. So this is empowering apparel entrepreneurs. And so we're an incubator and an accelerator and a design studio and an academy and office space and event space. And we have events and we have directory and we have literally everything. So this is like a hub of the fashion industry for the modern apparel entrepreneur is what we call it. So instead of a fashion designer, an apparel entrepreneur, people who are starting brands that make cut and sew products. And we use a lot of technology here because technology is key to making this better, to making the industry better. The industry is really unsustainable. It's one of the most unsustainable industries on the planet. That's from overproduction unethically overseas. So if we can reshore and we can make small batches, they're going to be more expensive when you do small batches and you do them domestically. So how do we make it a little more affordable and better? Well, we use technology. So Fabric embraces all of the latest state-of-the-art technology so that we can make it more affordable, more sustainable, less wasteful. So I'm just going to play you a quick video so you can see some of that technology. But what you're going to see is digital product creation. So we do all of our patterns digitally. You'll also be able to use that avatar that's created, meaning we make our patterns digitally. We stitch them up on avatars so we can test the fit and make sure, fine tune it, make sure it's good to go before you cut and sew anything. That saves you from making lots of samples and lots of waste. And then you can take that avatar, use it for your marketing. You can put it up on your website. You can change prints and colors and experiment with it all. And then you can take orders and then we can fill those orders on demand. So you don't have to make 5,000 units of one color overseas and then sit on all that inventory and hope to sell it. You basically are just filling the order after the order comes in. We also use digital product passports, which are little chips that you can put into your garment so that people can tap their phone on it and they can learn about your garment and why it's so special and how it's sustainable and all the good things that you need to tell them in order to justify a higher price point because it was made domestically in small batches. And then we offer sustainability in so many different ways. And one big one is we just partnered with a company called EcoStance that is providing carbon neutral certifications. When you start a brand here and you go all the way through, you can walk away being a carbon neutral brand. And so what you're going to see is most of that technology. This was Eco Fashion Week last year, actually took place right here. So a print can come from anywhere, any inspiration. And then designing your pattern virtually allows you to be able to stitch it up on an avatar, get creative with your print, and place your print onto the pattern pieces. And then print this on our sustainable printer that can print on any sustainable fibers with eco-friendly, safe, non-toxic dyes. And then cut sew individual pieces as they come in instead of giant quantities. And then use your avatar for marketing. We can even set them into unique settings. If you wanted your avatar walking the beach or something like that, we can do that. That whole that product right there was created by Amelia Walsh, who is a member of our team. She's our creative director. She's the one that you would hire to do your prints and your graphic design, things like that. But she's also a fashion designer. And there's the digital product passport. And so she came up with this concept for this outfit, created the whole thing. That whole process you saw was like a couple of weeks. Normally in industry, it's months to go through that process. So it also speeds up the process. It eliminates a whole bunch of waste, makes it a lot more affordable, and makes it a lot more sustainable. So embracing technology is what the industry needs to do. It's just having a hard time doing it. And that's what we're trying to do here to make sure that we can create a better future. So as a nonprofit, we have a people-focused mission. We're trying to help apparel entrepreneurs by providing them with all the resources that they need and all this cool technology. And then we have a planet-focused vision. So we're trying to change the way the industry is so they'll adopt all this cool technology and to be able to make a more sustainable industry out of it. So a bigger vision to kind of put Arizona on the fashion map and make this new headquarters for, the way things should be done, because, the industry is kind of old school and it's stuck in its old school way. So we can do it from scratch the right way. And as a nonprofit, we've given back $13 million worth of free and discounted programs and services to the community. We give away a lot of free stuff. Like if you're running a business right now, you can put your business in our business directory for free. And that means you have a link from our website to yours, which is great for your SEO, but it's also good advertising for you. Everybody in the audience, if you don't have a business and you want to support local businesses, go to the directory and you're going to find them there and you can go buy from them. You'll also find hair salons, hairstylists, makeup artists, boutiques, all kinds of fashion related things in there as well. We have an events calendar that's free. We have job classifieds that's free. We have a free sourcing library. I get $5 consultations every Friday. I mean, we have so many free resources here, and we document all that. We report it to City Council, and that's how we have this partnership with the city that lets us use their beautiful building. So we give back a lot. And we also have helped about 2,000 apparel entrepreneurs since we created this in 2016. So about 2,000 people have come through here and used those resources to start their brands. Not everybody's a success story, because you have to have a good idea, and you have to have some money, and you have to have time, and you have to have patience. You have to be willing to use our tools and our roadmap and our guidance and follow all of that. But there's a bunch of success stories that have come out of here. And those people you can actually see on our website, on our testimonials page, along with a ton that are already in our directory and everything. So we're trying to do a lot of good here. And all those free benefits are available on our website under the community tab. So go to fabricincubator.com and you can add yourself to the directory, find a job in our classifieds page, find events to attend that are all over the valley, but also all the industry events in New York and LA and stuff are on there. You can share your own event with me and we'll put it up on there for you. So it's free advertising for your events. All kinds of things. So go to our website, everything is on there. We also have a roadmap. I built a roadmap that guides apparel entrepreneurs through every single step that it takes to start a business, brand it, develop a sewn product, manufacture it, sell it, and even have or participate in fashion shows and understand technology. Each of those steps of the roadmap is built out with like hours of video lessons, all kinds of downloadable content, resources pointing you in the right direction, links to the things that I learn every day. I add to it, add more and more content to it, and it just keeps growing. So people that are working with us go through the Apparel Entrepreneur Roadmap, and they go step by step, step by step, and get their way through each one of those things using that. And we scholarship people into that. We want to help people who are at a disadvantage. So minorities, veterans, people with disabilities, and people who have a financial need usually get some sort of assistance through this, so they don't have to pay for this kind of education that's valued at about $70,000. Now, one of the cool things that we do every year is we have Eco Fashion Week. And the reason that we have Eco Fashion Week is because we want to give lots of free opportunities. And one of the things that happens is when people have clothing brands, they think they need to be on a runway show immediately. And they spend thousands of dollars to participate in fashion shows or to create their own fashion show. And they run out of the money that they actually need to actually manufacture their clothes. So we thought, well, if you want to be in a fashion show, let's give you a platform. So we create Eco Fashion Week every year, and it's free for you to participate in. If we charge anything for any of the events, it's like $10 or $100 or, things like that, not thousands of dollars. So it's coming up. It's in April. It's always over Earth Week during April. And so it'll be April 19th through the 26th or 7th or something like that. It begins with Refabricate, which is upcycled denim show. All of you that are designers should be in that show. It's $10 to be in the show. It's free if you're a student. You get to upcycle denim. If you win the competition, you get to be in Green Living magazine, and you also get $250 in gift cards from Tempe Marketplace, and you get the Runs with Scissors trophy. And so the honorable Runs with Scissors trophy. So that would be a great way for you to get your toe in the water if you're a student, or show us what you're made of if you're an established designer. We also have our behind the scenes during Eco Fashion Week. That's going to be an amazing panel discussion with experts from all over the industry. We're all coming together to talk about sustainability and the things that you can do to be better consumers or better business people, to be more sustainable. We also have an event during Eco Fashion Week that is a pop and swap. And so if you're a brand and you want to sell product, if you're sitting on inventory right now and you want to sell it, be part of our pop and swap. It's the pop part, it's the pop-up. You can actually have a table and sell your product there. It's only $100 to participate in that. Most things like that, vendor opportunities, are a lot more money than that. So we try to make it really affordable. And then the swap part is a clothing swap. So you can actually bring your clothes and swap them out for free for other clothes and with the community. And then the final event during that week is our, usually we have one big like fashion show, and this one is and it's always a fundraiser, and this one is a fundraiser that's a partnership with Ballet Arizona. Ballet Arizona gave us a whole bunch of their costumes, and then we selected 10 designers from the community. Each one got one costume, and they also get 3 yards of fabric that is sustainably printed, so they get to design their own print it on the 3 yards, add to what they got from their costume, and redesign the costume with using that yardage and something else. It's going to take place at the very last day of Eco Fashion Week, and it's going to be at a private residence in Paradise Valley. It's going to be a high-end, like, tea party, basically. So it's a little bit higher price ticket than we normally do, but it's because it's a fundraiser for 2 nonprofits. So come to it if you don't know how to sew, or actually it's too late to participate as a designer. Come to it. There are a few people in the audience that are actually participating as designers. So I'm going to call you out right now. Stand up if you are actually one of the designers in the show. I'm looking at you two ladies right now. If you are a part of On Point, stand up. Gail, you guys stand up. Awesome. Okay, so you're going to see these looks on the runway, and then if you are part of Refabricate, I don't know. We do. You're going to be in Refabricate. Was there somebody else in the audience that's part of Refabricate? Okay, stand up if you're going to be in Refabricate. So there's a couple more designers that you guys are going to see. That's right, that you're going to see in Refabricate as well. Yay! I'm so excited for you guys. Thank you for participating. And the rest of you should attend all of these events. All right. Well, now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty here. The whole reason that you got, oh wait, one more thing. One more little housekeeping business before we get down to the nitty gritty. We not recently, 2 years ago, moved into this building from our original building, which is next door. And we've spent the last 2 years kind of moving stuff over and keeping the old building going because it was our event space. And we rent it out, and that's how we generate income for everything that we do. First. So we're going to be done with that building. We're going to have no more event income, first of all. That's something that the community should know because we need your help. Please help us figure out a sponsor to replace that income, or a partnership with some other big entity that can help us continue to do all the good I just told you guys about. We need your help. Also, we have to move the last little bits of pieces that are over there. So if you are looking for fabric, sewing machines, garment racks, building supplies, photography supplies, all kinds of things, we have a giant room full of things that we're selling for really, really cheap this Saturday. So you can come this Saturday between 11 and 2 and buy all this stuff. Fabric rolls of fabric. Does anybody know how expensive fabric is right now? Oh my gosh, have you tried to go buy fabric? It's like $12 a yard on average. We're selling rolls of fabric for $10. The biggest roll, $50. So you're gonna come and buy the fabric, right guys? Come and buy some of the stuff from us and take it off our hands so we don't have to move it over here. Whatever doesn't sell the next day on Sunday is gonna be free with a donation. We hope that you'll make some sort of donation, even if it's just a couple bucks, okay? So if you want to get your hand on something you know for sure, then come buy it on Saturday. And if you want to take the chance and hope that it's still there, come on Sunday. We've sent out a newsletter about it, so hopefully you guys got it all in your inbox. It's on our social media and everything, and it's at the building next door. So I hope to see you all there. Help us get rid of all the stuff that has been sitting in there and help us fuel this place at the same time. Okay, so now the nitty gritty. What are we here for today? Well, we do this event called Behind the Seams the last Thursday of every month, and this is a way for the community to get together, network, meet each other. You guys all are part of our family. You should all know each other really well. You all love fashion. You all could be helping each other. So hopefully you've all met each other today. And after this is over, you can keep networking for a few more minutes when we're done. But we're an educational facility. This is a chance for you to learn from an expert. So we bring in a different expert every month and we learn from them. We hear their journey because it's really interesting to hear how somebody became the expert that they are. Like, what did it take and what did their path look like? Everybody's path is so different. And so there's no right or wrong. We're going to hear her path tonight. That's amazing. And then they're going to teach us something. So hopefully it helps you. It helps you feel safe about your own journey and learn a little bit something about the industry. I'm so excited about tonight's guest. So Renata is a fashion designer. And she has been doing this for a while. She's worked for a lot of big brands that you're going to hear about tonight. And when I learned a lot more about her, I was like, this chick is cool. First of all, she is like one of the coolest guests we've had. She has had her foot into like board sports industry, like skate industry, things like that. She's met some really, really iconic people in that industry. And I'm just like super giddy about it because that's kind of my jam. I really like that industry. So I learned a lot about her putting this presentation together with her. And I'm so excited. Let's give her a round of applause. Renata Marchard, thank you for coming tonight. Hey, here's your mic. Now, I'm going to tell you, you got to hold this thing up really awkwardly close to your face.
Hello.
Yes, that's it. If it's out here, you can't. It doesn't take. And the people that are watching online need to hear us, so keep it up really close, okay?
Okay, got it.
Good.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're going to stand, right? Okay. Renata's outfit's not going to work with sitting, so I'm going to sit if that's okay with you.
See, you guys need to plan for your fashion. It's a fashion emergency.
I love it. Okay. So the very first thing I always ask everybody before we start getting into her career and everything is to tell us about you as a child. So what was Renata like as a kid?
As a kid, I was really into fashion, but I didn't know fashion was a thing. So for me, growing up, it was more music. I was like super into music. I thought I was going to work with music for the rest of my life. And I worked with bands and doing all kinds of things. But my grandma was a seamstress and I always had like the little sets. Like I would never be like not matching. That's, God, you can't do that to me. So I was always into, the details, even though I was very much a tomboy in my teens. I always kept like that thing, oh, little girl, and there's like a ruffle, and there's like a. So growing up, I loved that stuff, but it wasn't my first passion.
Oh, okay. We have a very similar background, kind of the same idea. I'm going to give you this because I want you to have control over this since, you're telling your story. So you're going to click that bottom button and point it at that computer when you want to switch slides.
Awesome.
So you were super cute, first of all.
Mine is the hair. Like this hair is not working for me. I don't know what my mom was thinking. It was the 80s.
I love it. 80s are so always in. To me, that's a classic.
Very Def Leppard.
I love it. Well, okay. So you mentioned a little bit about yourself as a teen.
Yeah. So anyway, I was born in Brazil. I grew up there. I moved to LA when I was about 19, 20 years old. So my childhood and teens were in Brazil. My cousin was a drummer, and like everybody I knew was my husband's a drummer. Everyone I knew was a drummer, or a singer, or a guitar player, or a skateboarder. So I was never gonna work at a bank. Like that wasn't gonna work out.
I feel you. That sounds very similar.
Yeah. So in 2000, there was this big festival in Brazil called Rock in Rio. And it's a reoccurring festival. It's like the Woodstock of Brazil. There's like 250,000 people one night, and it's 7 nights. So at 20, I was super lucky. I started working. I was working with bands already, but they hired me to work production at Rock in Rio, and it was amazing. All the bands were there. I met Axl Rose. I loved him. Met Sting, met all the bands, and
Wait, that's a rose right there?
yeah, you can see. I know it's the '90s people. The pictures. It's not an iPhone.
Is that Sting?
It's Sting.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But the funny thing about this, Iron Maiden was recording a DVD, and they needed a person to like play a Virgin in the Woods, and the
Wait,
lady.
a virgin in the woods?
I don't know a lot about it, but the lady that was gonna do it didn't come, so I ended up doing it. It's on their DVD, and it's there forever now.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. So you're like on this?
Yeah, when they play the song called Iron Maiden, there's like a wooden cage where the singer is in, and we're in there with him.
Shut up. Oh my God. I wish
And
my husband was
it's-
here. He's like
yeah.
a super Iron Maiden fan.
And my dad was watching live stream on at home. He's like, "What is how? I thought you were working."
So he's like, well, at least you're the virgin.
Right, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so this was right before I moved here, and so I thought I was gonna go straight into working with music over here. I brought a band from Brazil, and when I got here, used to work at the Viper Room, and at the time, the Viper Room was like all the rage.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp used to own it, and it was like everybody in there was somebody. It was the Chili Peppers, and Pamela Anderson. If you're super young, you might not know, but she was super hot. And
Wait, what year are we? Are we like mid 90s?
this is 99, 2000, 2001.
Got it. Okay.
So it was like the height, like Pink would be there, and it was really fun. It was a good time. I brought a band from Brazil, so I got them signed to Geffen, and we did the whole like playing everywhere, San Francisco, New York. We played CBGB. I told you about CBGB is like this iconic punk rock club in New York City that became a John Varvatos store.
Yeah.
But it's where all the bands started, like the Ramones and Blondie used to play there, and everybody who was really cool. So that was amazing, and I thought I was gonna do that forever, but you know, living on the road, like out of a bag, was like as you get older, it's just not as much fun. And in the beginning, like traveling, you're like, yeah, I'm on the bus for 10 hours and it's gonna be awesome. And then you get someplace and you're like, oh, this sucks. My back hurts. I'm only 20 and I feel like I'm 60. So it got old really quick. And I was like, you know what? It's time to like move on and go to school.
What were you doing with the bands? Like, what was your job?
Managing. So I would book show at this time. More managing, so
Got
like
it.
booking shows, driving them, making sure nobody's like too wasted to play, and making sure we get pictures, making sure I'm the designated driver, and I sell records, and I talk to somebody who's gonna put them in the radio and the magazine, and
That's
like
awesome.
all the fun stuff that
Yeah.
they don't want to do. It is, and it's nonstop. Yeah. So you never have and it's a lot of late nights, which I used to love when I was younger, and then later I was like, it's 9:30. I'm gonna go to bed with my cat at the time. Now my husband and baby.
And the cat? No.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're doing these jobs, and I used to do also like a lot of extra work for film and TV. It's just a way to make a quick buck, and LA a lot of people do it. Like you sign up with Central Casting and you call every day and they're like, we're looking for someone like this and that and the other for Superman. It shoots tomorrow downtown, and you're like, plug your information, they call you back or they don't, but you're like, go and work, and it's $100, and there's
You stand there for like
service.
16 hours.
Yeah, you're just like sitting there, and then you're in a scene for 2 minutes, and then you have to wait 6 more hours, and you're like, you can go home. And you're like, oh, but you get paid, and you eat, and you meet a bunch of people. So it was really fun. It was definitely like an experience. I would rather be doing that than I don't
Waiting
know.
tables or something.
Yeah, it's just different, And then sometimes I'll be watching like My Name is Earl, which is an old like TV series, and I'll be like, oh my god, it's me right there. I remember that scene. It's like, oh, party, whatever. So it's like a good story. Everything in my life had to be like a good story, otherwise I wouldn't do it. Because like this is just not gonna sound good in the future, you know?
I was a bank teller and I passed money over there.
Yeah, no. I actually did work at a bank, you guys. Like my mom was pretty strict and a pain in my butt, and she made me work at a bank for like 6 months. And it was a French investment bank, and I had to wear a suit, and it was like doomed from the beginning.
This is
But
so funny. Like all the things that you're saying resonate so much with me. I worked in law firms for a little while. I kept getting sent
Same.
home because I wasn't dressed okay.
yeah.
But same idea. I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
do this. This is not me. You know, I need
Yeah.
to do something a little more
I
entertaining.
turned 18 when I was working at the bank, and I remember the day I turned 18, I went and I got a gigantic tattoo. And everybody at the bank, this was like 1998, and everybody at the bank was like, she's like not okay. Like, because girls didn't have like big tattoos in the 90s. It
And
was
back
like,
then, you couldn't even have a tattoo at the bank.
no,
Yeah.
hell no. Yeah, no. But yeah,
Different world.
I did it. Then I got fired. The end. So yeah, but you know, doing odd jobs in Hollywood and trying to work with bands, it's like not at all glamorous, and it's not a thing that's like countable, especially at that time. Like I did a lot of work, but all I had was like flyers, like on my portfolio. It's like this doesn't mean anything, you know? And the pay, like there's no pay. You're just, you know, it's for exposure.
Doing it for the beer.
Yeah. I don't drink beer, so this is not gonna work. So I decided to go to school, and I researched and I found Otis, which is like a fashion school in LA. They used to be the equivalent of Parsons, but West Coast. And they're the oldest art school west of Chicago because they're from like the 1900s or whatever. And we were in downtown LA, and it was just the hardest thing you can possibly imagine. Like, if you just to understand, the year after I graduated, somebody sued the school over how much work they gave us, and they won.
What?
So, like, the school had to change the curriculum.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
didn't know this.
And we didn't have, like, the second and, like, third and fourth year, we didn't have homework. Like, here's my teacher, here's my homework. We would get a brand to come down, and we all worked for the brand. Like, they give us direction, and we all design like 15 looks. They come and they pick one, and then you go into studio and you're like draping and flat patterning and sewing every single thing that they picked.
Wait a minute. So the brand gets free labor?
Yes.
Whoa.
And design.
This is legal? Yeah. Wow.
It's amazing. I did Armani, I did Tadashi for like dresses and night dresses and stuff like that. But I did a project for Hurley that was really successful. And by the way, I just have this here because I wanted to talk to you guys about mood boards and like kit of parts when it comes to like fashion. When you're a young designer and you're putting, even when like whatever age designer you are, when you're getting inspiration, and sometimes you like go to a store and you see like a button or fabric or a picture, and these things like start, you know, brewing your ideas and stuff like that. So like for me, mood boards and boards with like parts and things and fabrics and treatments are like always the first thing I go for. And this is like the solid base for anything that you're gonna make. So whenever you have an idea, like now I'm doing a baby room, I have a mood board for my baby room.
Of course you do.
It just goes on and on, but it just makes work so much easier because when you're designing like a big collection, and let's say you have like 60 pieces, you have to know like things can't look the same, but they also have to have like a thread of
Underlying
commonality.
like familiar similarity with each other.
Yeah, and things like this really help like keep you in track. They really help when you are presenting, like let's say you're working at Hurley or Barbie or whatever, and you have an idea, you go over there, present. Like presentation is everything. I'm gonna get present it right, even if the person like I don't like this at all, they'll do it. Because you sold it, you know?
Yes. And you know what? Another tip about mood boards that I found was really helpful is try to think outside the box about what you're inspired by, because the typical thing, it doesn't push your creativity. So if you're like, oh, my mood is going to be summertime or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, come up with something fully unique and different and really push yourself a little bit to come up with that inspiration. And then it'll pull out some ideas that you maybe never had. So instead of summertime, maybe it's the study of insects or something like that, something gross or something that you're turned off by, something that's going to push you a little bit to think differently.
Or something very specific, right? Because that's the thing, like working as somebody who's hiring people to work for me. Like when I was starting at Hurley, it was one thing, but even then, when I went to school, I was already like 29, 30, so I was like older. And before that, with all the bands, and I always had like a big passion for movies. So I really I watched everything. I'm talking about like silent movies and like movies with no people or dialogue, and like hand painted movies
Eraserhead.
and just anything, like anything. I'll watch anything. I watch Real Housewives of wherever, but everything is fashion. Everything is like behavior, is lifestyle. But as somebody who's hiring for creative positions, I think the younger generation is missing the background, because it's just like fashion. By the time it gets to Forever 21, it's over. Like that trend that starts like 5 years ago in Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, by the time it trickled down, it doesn't mean anything. And as an artist, your work, you need to go for the actual thing. Like you can, oh, I'm going to turn on the radio, I'm going to listen to Taylor Swift. No, you got to listen to, who does she listen to, and who does he listen to, and who do they listen to?
And the decades before that music
Mhm.
started from.
Yeah, so the more, as an artist, design, toy, product, whatever you're doing, even musicians, I've dealt with them my whole life. Going for the root of the problem is always like the best way. You always deliver the more authentic and substantial work.
Like, educate yourself on the history of
Mhm.
where that style originated from, because it's
Yeah.
going to get you a lot farther, more creative.
Yeah. So yeah,
Good
so
advice.
this is my class, and we graduated, and I made this guy's outfit, and I made this fabric, and it was like different layers of fabric, and it was hand stitched, and it was a pain in the ass. And the designer, like the head of Armani, he came over and he's like, that would be a great blazer. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to make them a
So
blazer.
you wove the fabric yourself?
Yeah, it's like
Oh
3
my
layers.
God.
I brought it over. So when you guys, like, when it's done and you guys want to come look, this is like school, Hurley, Dixxon, and like it's chronological order. But this was it. And I had to like hand stitch everything, and everything's to match. And it's like a pain in the ass.
You're like, why did I have to make this?
I'm like, why? Why did I even show him this? But yeah, it was awesome. It taught me a lot about work ethics. It was like you have to outwork the work. You have to outwork everyone. It was kind of chaotic at the time, but it really prepared me for the industry and for dealing with people and dealing with other different types of people and dealing with crisis scenarios, because it was always like a fire somewhere, and you have to figure it
Outworking
out.
other people, it's sort of hard to say that that's what you should do, because I think we as a culture work too hard, and I'm the most guilty person of this. But at the same time, like, that is what creates that success story. Like, you kind of do have to outdo everybody in a creative field like this. You have to put in the work, know, because whether you're good at it or not, if you're the one working the hardest, that's
You will
going
show
to
up.
take you. Yeah, you just show up exactly. Like, you're the one that's there. You guys are the ones that are here. like those are people like I'm going to remember because I see your face over and over. Like that's just a small example of that. But the people who participate, the people who go there, smile, the people that are always there, the people that show up. You maybe don't have that much design creativity, and there's somebody that's like so creative and so but they're never there and they don't actually do the work. Like you're the one that's going to make it.
It's also consistency
Yeah.
in any sort of industry that you are. Like when later in 2019, I was managing a band again. We're gonna go over it, but it was the consistency of like every month we're gonna have a music video. Every week we have some like just if you have a brand also like every month you have a drop, you have a new colorway, you have a new print. So like that consistency where people learn to expect that something is coming is something that will generate a lot of buzz. So I did my project for Hurley and I won an award and it was awesome. Yay! And part of the award was going and working for them. And I worked for them as an intern and then I went on to be assistant designer. And then once I got there, like nobody knew how to sew, none of the designers. So it was like an easy transition into the innovation team, which was the best team at the company, because at the time Hurley was owned by Nike and we worked directly with Nike. We were going there all the time and we had access to machines and fabrics and all kinds of stuff. So we actually made a lot of the prototypes in-house. So like this was our room and this is what it looked like when I was presenting my collection. So again, like you see all the fabrics that I want to wear here, the patches, trims, illustrations. You set it up like you give it like a little vibe. Here I'm working with Miguel Pupo. He's a surf guy. He's really good. This is my bike in the background because I would always bike around. And this is a suit we made for Bob Burnquist on a Toyota commercial. So we made that in-house with like a sonic welder and all kinds of like fun machines. And when you guys are ready to come over here, this is the jacket that sort of like gave birth to that jacket.
Oh, cool.
But if you guys want to look, everything is sonic welded, which means is like this machine is like a sewing machine, but instead of a needle, it's like a pizza roller. And you put the fabric in there and it's sound. So you have to wear a thing on your head and it's sonic weld the fabric. So there's no stitching on this jacket at all. It's completely waterproof. All the seams are sealed. And it's like a line of jackets. They have different weights and different purposes, but it's made for surfers.
So when you designed for them, did you actually, since you did know how to sew, did you actually have to like get in there and sew the things yourself?
Yeah. So in our room, we had like the sonic welding, the regular machine. We had
You
like a
got to
heat
operate
press.
the sonic welder?
Oh
and
yeah,
everything?
all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was my
Wow.
favorite. Yeah.
Cool.
Especially if people were like coming around to visit, I'd be like, "Way!" and it's like a noise that will make you like it's like nails on a chalkboard, and people will run away. I'm like, yes, goodbye. Don't waste our EC opening the door. No, it was awesome, and again, working for a family business, it's just the best. Um, I hate to see, Nike eventually sold Hurley, and they sold it from under the family. So, like, if you guys ever build a business, don't sell it. Don't partner with the big company. Don't, every business that I've worked that has like a board of directors or like a shareholder, investor, like if it's a creative business,
Loses the
it
creativity.
loses because marketing then is calling the shots and it's numbers. And especially for fashion people don't understand it's art.
Yeah.
So it's not a number. If you don't go with what the creatives think, you're gonna go against yourself because numbers are fine, but you have to just really keep people interested, and you can keep people interested regurgitating the same stuff over and
Eventually, it's
over.
going to get old and fizzle out, anyways.
Yeah. So it's a problem. It's always a problem between design and marketing. Like that's always like the
Yeah.
people that hate each other.
But it's also a thing that everybody wishes that they could get like a big investor or a big, partnership like that. But when you do that, you kind of have sold your soul in a way, like
not
the VC capitalists, they need a return on their investment very, very fast, which requires you to just do all kinds of things that we lose all that authenticity and the creativity that you originally started with. And it's all about how quickly can we get our money back. And it's not a win.
yeah. It's sad. Don't do it. But it's also like same things work for bands because bands are like, oh, I want to get signed and then I'm gonna have a record label and I'm gonna be a millionaire. It's not how it works. Like when they give you money, it's you owe them. It's a loan. So you have you have to work your ass off on the road to pay them back and you probably still owe them later. So by the time for a band is the same thing. By the time you grow your business to be the size that somebody with a lot of money wants to buy it, you've done it.
Yeah.
Like you did the hard part. Just like
Keep it
cruise.
going.
Yeah, keep it going. Because then you sell it and they destroy the business. You don't have the business. They don't have the business and it's over.
Right.
Don't do it. So yeah, I did a lot of the Phantom project. I did some of the collabs. This was like the Clash collaboration. I did something really cool. That was the skirts that were board shorts for girls because it's like we're girls. We don't want like a baggy board short. Like why can't we have something cute that has,
The same look.
protection underneath and whatever? But it was really cool. And Love Shack Fancy just did a collab with Hurley and they used this piece. So that was really
That's
cute.
awesome.
Made some wetsuits, never got in the water, don't know how to surf, but it worked out and they were awesome. So whenever somebody says to you, like, can you do it? You never say no. You go like, yes, and then you hurry home and then you learn how to do it and then you do it. And that's how it is, right? Like you never say, no, I don't know. No. This was my team at Hurley, and we won the board short of the year like 4 years in a row because we were just like so stoked on board shorts. And this was the SEMA award, so it's pretty big in the surf industry, and it's kind of like an important thing. So it's pretty cool. We developed some cool patents too with Nike for the board shorts. So that's something. If you guys can ever develop patents, go for it because it's something that builds up your resume a lot. Some sketches that I did for them. A lot of the stuff I would just like, why don't we do denim? Like we're just doing like, why don't we do something cuter? And that's the problem with me. I'm always pushing for like, why aren't you doing this? Like I want to do this other stuff, and then. But it's good because you grow the business that way.
Actually, go back to that. This is a good teaching moment. So what you're looking at, if you're new to fashion, the bodies there, those are croquis, and then the garments are flats, and the flats are the engineered drawings the blueprints that are needed so that a pattern can be made or the thing can be costed and figure out how much it's going to cost, and all the details are there, and that's what ends up becoming the garment more than anything. The croquis is just there to kind of sell the idea, to say this is how it's going to be worn, this is how it's going to be merchandised, the styling of it and things. So more importantly, learning to draw flats is like way important because that's the technical, that's the design, that's a real like detail of the thing.
And your flats, like this is something that I got like beaten over the head with at school. You really need to like romance your flats. Like it's not, you don't just draw the stupid flat. Like you draw it, then you shade it, then you come in with like a harsher line, and then you add like a crease, and then everything that you add to your flat is gonna give it like a touch more of reality, and people are really gonna be like, oh my god, like I can really see it. Like because usually you're dealing with people who have to see something that's ready. Like us as artists, we can see like a piece of paper in the ground and be like, oh my god, Colosseum. Yeah. But like you're literally talking to people who are like, look, I want to make this, and they're like, I just don't see it. Like it's hard. So the more you do on your flats, the better off you'll be.
And you know what? There's now technology, you guys, where you can take your flat and then you can basically have it like AI can turn it into what looks like a real garment just from a flat. So there's different apps and stuff, and basically you upload your flat, and then it becomes something that looks like a three-dimensional actual picture of a real item directly from your flat with the fabrication and everything. It's pretty awesome. So technology is like making all of this way more easier than it's been, because now your
Yeah.
client can visualize it. So if you draw your flat because you want the idea, you got to get it out, and you got to engineer it, then scan it in, have it look like the real thing, show that in your presentation. Now that didn't exist back
Yeah.
then.
Sorry, I'm a cave woman. I'm drawing everything by hand.
Yeah.
Like computers are cool and everything, but like this to be.
But you can upload your hand-drawn flat, and it does the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I
We
get
never
it.
would have imagined that back then.
So then I was at Hurley, and when I was at Hurley, I was part of the aluminum board for Otis. I represented fashion, and there was a friend of mine who represented toy. He was in toy design, and he used to be the art director for Hot Wheels at Mattel. And one day he's like, "Well, you have a film background, right? I went to UCLA for like film certificate briefly." And he was like, "Oh, you have fashion. We need somebody like you to do the art direction for Barbie content, and it's animation. Like I know nothing."
Always say yes.
Exact. I've seen nothing. I haven't seen The Lion King, and they were like, "Yeah, come in." I'm like, "Okay, awesome." And then got it in the interview. The interview was crazy because the guy was like, "Well, you know what you're doing. You're hired." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like I have no idea. So again, like starting from day one, like going into meetings and looking at these models. When you're working with animation, like CGI, there's all these like gray models, and you have to fix this and that. Like it's a lot. Like it's a lot about like 3D modeling. Then it's like the set design and the clothes and the fonts and the color. It's a lot. It was a big school in terms of branding, in terms of like, because Barbie's just the best marketing machine in the entire world. But so this was Barbie Starlight, and for years people would be pitching Barbie in space. And every time it was like, "No, space is scary, space is dark, and this, that, and the other." And I talked to my boss, and she's like, "Just do it, just pitch it again. Who cares? Like, make it cool. You haven't pitched it, so whatever." So I pitched it, and we made it because I made a color story that was like
Oh my
not
gosh.
scary,
So
and it was
beautiful.
fun, and it looked exciting, and it was girly. Like every time you're putting together your inspiration, really like spend the most of your time on your mood boards, because that's gonna be what's gonna sell. So this was like a big win for me. There's another project that I did for Mattel. I did like 10 or 11 movies and then some series.
So how much of I want to get to know a little bit more about the detail about this. Like,
Yeah.
did you just work with the animators and explain what you wanted? Like, hey, I just want this to look like this, pull up inspiration, and then they created it, like did all that, like
Yeah.
however they do that. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll show you guys. There's something over here. If you guys want to flip through this book later. So
We could pass it around if you're okay with that.
yeah, when we did the Dreamhouse Adventure show
Here.
on Netflix, I created that show from scratch. So here you can see like a lot of things that this is kind of like what came back from the studio. So I'll send everything they want like on a list and as many pictures of inspiration as I can, and then the studio will send passes and you say yes or no, or you draw over it or recolor. So like over here you see like every piece of the house. This is what the studio came back with, and then the cast of characters, a mood board for every character. I'm trying to figure out if I have a, because sometimes in some of the, oh, here. So like this is what I sent to the studio. I'll send something like foyer, and then I'll break down everything that's in the foyer. Like the stairs need to do this, the clock needs to do that. I want this kind of pattern. Study room, I want like a big wall for all the fun things. I want this kind of table. And this is almost like a guidebook. It's like a style guide for the studio.
Gosh, down to the utensils.
Every single thing.
So great.
Yeah. So a lot of my work, like the biggest bulk of my work, is pre-production, because you're literally picking like every single font and thing and pillow, and it's important. I mean, it's Barbie's house, and it's
So
got to be awesome.
fun.
So if you guys want to flip through this, it's very informational. Then you can see the original drawings I did for the outfits over there, and then some of the dolls that are wearing it. Yeah, and
awesome.
it was awesome.
Wow, that would be such a fun job.
So
Basically, like an interior designer for Barbie.
for Barbie. I mean, come on. I was there for about 5 years. We did the Barbie YouTube channel, like her vlog, and I won a little award for that, so that was awesome. And I had nice pink hair like your daughter. And then, it fried my hair, and we started all over. When I left Mattel, I was on a kick doing content. My husband is a drummer, and he had like this really cool band.
What was his band?
It was called Sway. And I decided I was gonna make music videos for them because I love music, and I went back into managing them and was booking all the things and recordings and whatnot. And we recorded at Tommy Lee's house, the house where he recorded the video with Pamela Anderson. If you know, you know.
Oh my god! Actually, when I had my brand in the '90s, Tommy Lee and Pamela wore my stuff too.
Oh,
So there's another
nice,
connection.
yeah. 1 degree of separation from Tommy Lee.
I don't know if I want that.
Has to be like 15 inches of separation at least.
Oops.
Sorry, guys. There's one kid here, and she's out there. So yeah, but I did a bunch of music videos. You guys go to YouTube, go to my channel, Renata Marchard, and you'll see them there. And it's so fun. It was like probably the hardest work I've ever done in my life, because you're like finding location, you're finding a director, you're telling them everything that you want, you're finding a lighting person, you're renting all the equipment, you're doing all the contracts, you're casting, I did all the clothes. So it was like a lot. I drove, like, this video is in an amusement park, and I dressed the girls to be the guys. So I literally made their tattoos just like every guy in the band. And then I drove everyone in a bus. It was awesome. So it was a really good time, but do it when you're young, because it's not worth the time. But yeah, check out the music videos. They are really, really cool. The songs are really cool. You guys are here. You made it. So there's a pile of CDs there. If you guys want it, take one. If we run out, I have more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's CDs. It's like prehistoric. Then we moved to Arizona. COVID hit, and I wanted to get out of LA for a long time because it was crazy and traffic was insane, and I just hate traffic. So we moved out here.
So that was 2020?
2020, yeah.
Okay.
Summer 2020.
So 20 years earlier is when I made my move from LA to Arizona. I was
Wow.
2000.
Yeah.
2001, something like that.
That's when I made my move to LA. And then I'm chasing you. So I got to Arizona, and I'm like, where the hell am I gonna work? Like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. And I started like sending my resume everywhere, and I found Dixxon. Like, I don't know, it was like meant to be. And went in there, and it was like love at first sight. I've been involved with music and motorcycle and bad people all my life. So it was like
She didn't mean that, Dixxon.
maybe I did. But it's good. Everyone's bad. Bad girls go everywhere. I don't know. But it was awesome. We had a really good time. Like I said, I have a thing for movies. So at Dixxon, we do a lot of flannels that were like, oh, this guy wore this in the movie. So we make the exact pattern like this guy. That's awesome. It's a movie called They Live. It's really cool. And the flannel's right here too. So it's cool because we got to design labels and we got to design other kind of stuff. Like this is something that I designed for them. I was in charge of, when I got to Dixon, they didn't have a women's department. They had something called Vixen. They were trying to do like leggings and stuff like that, and some shirts that had like weird graphics. But when I got there, I was like, why are you giving women Vixen? Like, it's just you guys, like always with the second thing. I don't want a Vixen. I want a goddamn Dixon. Like, I'm not inferior. I want the same cool thing. So I had them like kill Vixen and started from scratch with Dixon Women's. And I did like some crop flannels, did some skirts. Like they have party shirts, so I did like party skirts. But there's also like the plaid skirts. Did lounge wear, bathing suits, whatever. You guys are free to like come and roam. But it was
I'm wearing my Dixon flannel today, so I can
looks
represent.
great. Yeah. But it was pretty awesome because as a designer, I had never started a women's department from scratch on my own, doing like all the things that like doing active and swim and lounge and jackets and shirts. So it was amazing. Like that's all I ever wanted, because then you're doing, dog stuff, bags. Like it's just a dream. So it was pretty cool. I was there for a long time, but kind of a drive, and I got overwhelmed too because I got in a show. One of my bosses from Barbie was doing a new show for Peacock for kids, and he called me, and I started developing the show. It's called T-Town Teddy Bears, also on YouTube, and super cute. If you have kids, they will love it. But I had both jobs at one time, and it was like really intense. So I left Dixon, but this is just a sneak peek of a bunch of really cool stuff I did. And again, like hand drawing, like the labels was probably like part of my favorite things, because it's like it was always like an inside joke or something.
So you drew that on the
Yeah.
bottom. So where did you get your illustration skills? Was that just in fashion school?
Yeah. Otis was pretty brutal. Like not only you had to sew everything that you think about, which is insane, but your illustration skills had to be incredible. Like I would spend like 7 hours on one croquis, and everybody would spend kind of the same, and we had to do like 4 or 5 every week. And they would literally like come and they would take the fabric and be like, the color doesn't match, and they like rip it off the wall and step on it, and they're like, next. So it's really, you know you get beaten, but it's like the head of the school, she always said you have to have like cold water in your veins.
Yeah.
It's
thick
the
skin.
only way you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Like somebody hurts your feelings, you're dead.
Yeah.
You have to just be able to be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it again. And
When I was in fashion school, my teacher made us draw 100 croquis every class, just the body, not full render,
Yeah.
everything, but just to get the body down. We had to do 100 every single, so 3 days a week, we had to do 100 croquis like each time. Which
Yeah.
That taught you that muscle memory
yeah,
that takes. But you're so good. I mean, that's not technically a croquis.
Thank
I mean,
you,
it's like
yeah.
it's hard to draw
Yeah.
a face. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have some natural artistic ability that must have been there before.
Yeah, but we also had like 8-hour model drawing classes like twice a week. That you're just breaking your back, like drawing the model. I don't know how they do it, but I don't know how we did it either,
I
because you're on
know.
that horse and it's
Yeah.
like super uncomfortable. But it's awesome. I love drawing. Like, to be honest, if I could, I would just draw all day.
Me too.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like when you start working, it's not drawing.
Yeah.
You're
I
not
mean,
drawing
the
at all.
croquis, I never draw croquis. Like
No.
when I have my own brand, I draw flats. I don't ever need croquis because croquis are there to sell your idea to your other team
Yeah.
members. And so like that skill we spent so many hours learning. I'm like, if only I could do that every day, that'd be great.
Yeah. But I'm all about the dying arts, you guys. Dying arts, it's where it's at. Like one day when the computers are doing everything, if you're the only person who can do something with your hand, you bet.
Be a novelty people would
Yeah.
pay to see.
Yeah. Go for it. Dying arts. So this was the show. It's called Teton Teddy Bears. And again, this show I designed like all the structures, the houses, the fashions, the characters. So the characters will come in models, and we're like, oh, the nose is sticking out too much, or the ears need to be blah blah blah. And then it goes 18 months later, you have something, because then you're working with the team and everybody has an opinion, and it gets messed with 100 times. But it's awesome. It's I love content. I think animation was something that came out of nowhere, and it's something that I really love because it's a lot of drawing. Fashion is more tech packs and technical things, but it's awesome to be able to go between things as well. I think one thing, when you go to school, you're like usually super young, and you're like, fuck, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Like, I have to keep making it fresh and exciting. But you don't. Like, if you, at some point, if you want to do something else, you can do something else, and things will like connect in a weird way.
I love that you've done so many different types of things and they just
Yeah.
kind of segued into each other. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
And things that are like, for kids, and things that are like
Yeah.
not for kids at all.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's fun. But then the best thing I ever did was this baby. She's here. You guys look at her later.
Where did
She's
she
the cutest.
go?
She's probably crying and went somewhere else. But we had a baby, and it was awesome. You guys, don't skip out on having a baby. I'm from a generation where we were like, yeah, fuck that. We're girls and we're gonna whatever. But like, I'm 45 now, and I'm pretty glad I was able to have this baby, because it's just something else. As an artist, you have to experience all the emotions, and you can experience all the emotions until you have a baby. So, girls, don't put it off until you're 40.
Actually, the life that you did and you got to do the things that you did would have happened if you had your baby earlier.
Yeah.
So, things
But
happen for a reason.
after you're 45, you have like 1% chance of having a baby every month. So I did good. But yeah, you guys, this is it on a nutshell. Feel free to ask me any questions.
Yay! First of all, we're gonna give you a big applause. That was awesome.
Thank
I
you.
told you she was cool, right? I mean, like, what a life. That was amazing. I'm so impressed, and I learned so much about you. And one thing she forgot to mention is she is one of the contractors here at Fabric. So when you come through here, we do things for you, like draw your flats, or we help you create your brand, or we do your pattern making, or all the tech packs and all the things. So she's one of the people that helps you with that. So
Yeah.
we got some really amazing skilled people here, and we're so lucky that you came to Arizona and that we
Thank
found
you.
you.
I love Arizona, you guys. You guys have it. You have a question over there?
I'm going to bring the mic over so that the people online can hear you.
You guys are lucky to be born here. I was born in Brazil, and it's crazy dangerous. And it's not fun at all. Like, it looks fun in the pictures. It's not fun in real life.
I didn't think I'd need a mic because I have a big mouth, but were your family members, like your mom or your dad, or really supportive, or were they like, I don't know?
My dad was really supportive. My mom was like full on, I don't know. Not only like, I don't know, she's like, I know, and it's not good. Like, she was against every single decision I ever made, pretty much. Like, when I was trying to move here, she's like, hell no. And I'm like, bye. But, every single thing, like, oh, I want to work with bands. She's like, no. I want to work, no. So it was kind of a struggle, but you gotta do your own thing. You can't please your parents all the time. She's happy now.
Did you ever see? Do you ever see your creativity in, say, kitchenware or furniture or plates, because now art is just so big.
Mhm.
You can go from clothes to dishes and have your artwork in dishes, have your artwork in furniture fabric. Have you ever thought of that, or did that ever come into play in your journey?
Yeah, we have some with Sherry that we're doing fabric stuff. But yeah, absolutely. My head is like a mile a minute. I'm constantly thinking of different things that I want to make. And just recently, like not even like 6 months ago, I was pitching like a home furniture design whatever line to somebody who works with homes and stuff like that, because it's just, why not, right? It's just right there. Yeah.
Well, we have a sustainable printer downstairs, and we can print,
Anything.
yardage of anything. And so we're trying to get out there as our new income generator. And it doesn't just make fashion. Of course, we can make pillows and other interior design stuff. So first person we thought of, or Sherry thought of, when it was time to pitch to interior people is, Renata so talented, you could probably create some amazing prints. And she did. Like, now these are the prints that we show to all the interior design companies as examples of what they could do to create their own, wallpaper or pillows or all the things.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're starting out, this is such a good resource for you to be able to, like, you have a place that can print your print. Like, let's say you're doing pillows. Pillows are pretty easy. You can get them in a store at Kierland or wherever, and you can get them in little stores like Urban Outfitters. I don't know, but it's something, and you never know where it's gonna go. Maybe you start making pillows and you make some money, and you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm gonna make some sheets that are like unique, or I'm gonna make. And this is how you grow a brand. Like, nobody starts with like
A full collection.
like, Hermes didn't start with the Birkin. Like, they started. Actually, I don't know. I'm talking out of my butt. They could. Well, I know for a lot of designers that I talk to, they're like, I want to start a brand, but like, what's my thing? Because Aloe does leggings, and whoever does this, and All Saints does leather jacket. It's like, no. You're going about it all wrong. Because if you're trying to be like super specific, like, I gotta make this one thing, and like, you can spin that bolt like so long, like you'll never do it. So really, just you think something's cool, make like a small batch, see what happens, get the money from that, make something else. But the fact that you're like getting your name out there, and you're practicing making stuff, because there's no mystery. Seriously, you guys, it's no mystery. You get in touch with the factory. Factories can do like anything. They'll even tell you, like, we have this body, you just like pick a color, we'll make it. Like, it's easy. But a lot of people, I feel, are like this big mystery of production, and it's a pain in the ass, but it's not like a big mystery.
I don't know. You make it sound so easy, but
It's a pain in the ass,
it
but
kind of is.
yeah.
You got to meet minimums at those factories if they're going to do all
Yeah.
that for you. So you got to get through getting your own intellectual property, like your pattern made, your tech pack, your sourced materials and trims, so that you own that and that you can replicate your product no matter where you go, and make it in smaller batches when you first start out. So it's easier when you're bigger and you can go to some big factory and you can meet those minimums and they can do all that for you. But when you're small, you kind of do have to, stay small. You have to pick one thing, like
Yeah.
a pillow,
Yeah.
design it, or whatever, a simple dress or something, invest in all that pattern making and the tech pack and the source of the materials and the trims, and then go get it in a very small batch somewhere locally so that you can get it out there, test the water, see if anybody likes it. Don't make 5,000, make 100 or
Yeah.
something. See if anybody wants it. Then if it scales, people start wanting it, Then you go to that bigger factory and you give them your intellectual property so that it comes out exactly the way that you wanted it, instead of having them do all that, because they own your intellectual property if
Yeah.
they did it for you. So there's a mix of the two. I think it just depends on the size of your company, you know?
Yeah, that's why places like Fabric are so important, because it's where you can test the waters. And by the way, you guys, like, failure is not something you should fear. You should fear not failing, because then you're not learning anything. You're just like going with the motion. You have to be able to throw yourself in the fire and be like, whatever, if it burns, and I'll figure it out, because that's how you're gonna know how not to do things. But it's how you meet people, it's how you get experience. It's,
Most business people, entrepreneurs, failed multiple times before the one
Yeah.
thing actually took. So
that's how they get it, because a lot of people fail and they stop trying and then nothing happens. Like, the people who succeed is because they,
persistence.
yeah, they're like, fuck this, I'm gonna make it.
Any other questions? Yay. Okay. Coming.
That's all I know. I did a study abroad when I was here at ASU.
Oh, awesome.
I have so many questions for you. Okay, intellectual property. You just mentioned that it's at the top of my head, AI, but you know what? I'm going to go with children. I have 2 little ones at home. Thank you for saying what you just said. I completely agree with what you just said. As a designer, how are you inspired now being a mom?
Well, I'll tell you what, my baby's like 5 months right now. There's no way I can work. Like, forget it. Like, there's no way. They poop, they cry, they want to eat. And if you put them down, you're like, oh, I'm going to fold some laundry, I'm going to put her down. Like, they cry. Hello. Like, you have to hold them like basically all day. And I think there's such taboo of like, I'm going to have a baby, I'm going to leave the workforce. Like, guys, we need to like put things into perspective. Like, the workforce is nice, but like, if you die tomorrow, your boss, he's not even gonna blink. Like, they're gonna hire somebody next week. You know who's gonna miss you? Your daughter, your son, your husband, your family, your mom. So like, it's great to have a career, but you can't lose sight of your life. And I feel like that's what happened to me. Like, for many years I was so invested in the career and all the movies and this and that and the other, and you're so busy. And also, like, in LA, God forbid you're pregnant, is like, how selfish of you. You're not gonna come to work and stay until 8 p.m. Like, why? So, Angela knows I've been taking a break, and it's like, it is what it is. I think women need to understand that, like, this is more important. Like, kids will grow up and then you can have your career again later. You're always going to be creative. Like, I'm still creative. I still, draw things for her, and I, make up characters, and I have all these ideas for all these things I want to do. But like, right now, this is the most important thing, because it's a human and it's my human. So it's really fast. Yeah. And don't miss out, because like, I know friends that are like my age that already like can have babies, and they all reach out to me like so upset, like, oh my god, I missed out, and now too late, I don't even have a boyfriend. And it's like, yeah, I know, I was almost there. Like, I don't even know how I did it, but it's important, you guys. Don't Career is awesome, but like, don't leave your personal life to the last minute. Like, go work out, eat. You know, I'm not the person to say, because I eat a lot of crap, but try to eat healthy when you can. And try to take care of yourself, because that's way more important than anything you're gonna make for any brand. Like, when it's time, and when the numbers don't click, and like, you're gone. Don't think that anybody's gonna be like, oh, but Renata, she's been here for 5 years. Like,
What we need is
They don't care.
society to be a little bit more accepting of, women having children and staying at their jobs with their children, or, having daycares and things like that, because it's really hard. Some people can't just stop working and take care of their baby though, so
Yeah.
it's like, it's unfortunate that is the situation, and we need to figure out as a society how to change that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, I had to have my kids with me at work, but luckily I figured out how to do that, but not everybody can actually do that, And then being an entrepreneur allows you to create your own hours and, breastfeed your baby on the couch while you're answering emails and stuff like that. So
Yeah, but a lot of the times, like, you can't even get to the computer.
Right.
Like, there are days that I even don't see my computer, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't look at my email for the last 3 days. But it's like, yeah. And just yesterday I was having the conversation with my husband. I'm like, I'm so torn because I want to work. I want to make money, duh. Because only one person working, things are tight.
Yeah.
It's a choice, but it's a choice,
Yeah.
So obviously I want to make money. I want to travel. I want to do all the things. But you have to be super kind with yourself, especially when you're going through somebody died, or you have a baby, or I think society now is work. Doesn't with your feelings. No, fuck that. Work. But it's a balance. We can't take things too personally that we're hurt because of what somebody said at work or whatever. But we also have to know, you know what? You guys are painting the place. It smells terrible. I'm going to go home. This is not good for my health. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
a line. And a lot of the times employees don't see the line because it's
You know what though? I think the younger generation is better at this than we
Yeah.
are. You know what I mean? I think
us, the
we
old
were
school, we're
raised,
you
work
have to
hard.
work.
You just work hard. That's what
Yeah.
you do. And
Put your
you
head
know, and
down.
the younger
and
generation,
work.
they have boundaries. They're like, no, you're not doing that to me.
Yeah,
Which is great.
absolutely.
Good for you guys.
Yeah. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
But also not so good because a lot of people try not to hire younger people. So there's a balance.
There is a balance. There's a balance to everything. Question.
Hi, my name is Sierra. First and foremost, you are awesome. You're such a dope
Thank you.
individual. But I also wanted to get your perspective on, I work a lot just to support myself. And I've kind of been in the middle of going to school for fashion, going to school for, I started out in behavioral science to become a psychologist. And I just want to get in touch with my creative side. I've always wanted to sew. I've always sketched and drew dresses and outfits, and since a young age. But I've always been an athlete as well. So now I put my spikes on the on the hanger. I'm no longer an athlete, but I just kind of want to get your perspective on how you continue to push forward in supporting yourself, and also kind of getting networking and things like that, and in the times where you were like, well, I have to do this, but I still want to do this, even though I need to do this. How do you continue to motivate yourself and push forward?
I think it's kind of like a natural thing. Some people just say sit still a lot. I have to say me. I have to say that a lot of my not sitting still have changed over the years. Up until I was 25, you couldn't find me home. I was never home. I'm not home. What home? I don't have a home. I was always out. I was always, I used to close the Viper room, change the marquee at 3 in the morning, and then I went home, which was behind the Viper room. Everybody that worked on that strip, Whiskey A Go Go, Roxy, Viper room, everybody was at my house. Because the party keeps going, and of course you're networking, you're meeting all these people. Girl, I'm 45. I'm not leaving my house at all. Unless there's food and it's during the day, I'm not going. So network while you're young. I know 100 million people. I keep in touch with all of them. It's exhausting, but this is my networking because I don't like going out, right? So I keep in touch with all the people that I already know that I networked when I had the energy. but also like you were saying, you have your career in psychology and fashion. So like having a hobby that can make you money is really healthy. So like you can go in and you can study your psychology stuff, but if you as a hobby you're sewing things and you're making prints, you never know what's going to happen. And I say that like in the most broad way possible, in the sense of like, maybe you make a line of something or other that starts selling out on Instagram, and it's like people really like it, and then you succeed. Maybe you figure out that there's a disease, a psychological disease or something with your patients that they would benefit from some kind of clothing. And then you like, there's so many like athletes, medical, these are niches in fashion that are like not explored at like athletes, of course, yes, but like the medical stuff, we're still in the beginnings of like how we can cure people with fabric. Like in the back in the old days, all the hospitals had linen sheets because they believe that that helped heal people. Nowadays is like, I don't even know what they're doing over there. But you know what I mean? Like there's so much to be studied for fashion, fabrics, treatments that could link up with medicine, with well-being, with athletics. So I think every time that you think like, okay, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been working with bands for a long time. I feel like I'm at dead end. At a dead end, and I don't know what to do. I would go for my next hobby. So like I really love clothes, and then I went, and then oh I really like music, and then I went. But every time I never like when I was going to school for fashion, if I would lose interest, I wouldn't leave the school. Like if you are doing something, if you're going to school and you're like, oh, I'm over this. Oh, I hate it. I don't know why I chose this. Go finish and start something else, because you never know how things are gonna happen in your life. It happens. I don't know how to explain. It happened in my life, but it happens in a way that everything that you've been through will come together and will be all the things that you need to have success.
You know, I think the whole idea of having like a hobby that you can kind of turn into a side gig, you know, that pays you some money is a big thing nowadays because, you know, with the internet, you can literally create a brand online, create a website in a second using AI on Wix or something. And you can, you know, put everything up on Instagram and stuff. So you don't have to quit a job. You don't have to like go to school to become something. You could just dabble in something pretty easily on your side, on your like free time, like on the weekend or after your job or something like that, and see if it actually turns into something. In fact, every business I ever started was that. It just, I had a full-time job and I just went and did this thing, you know, after work and on the weekends as a hobby, and then it turned into something more. That's the best way. Don't quit your job to take everything you own and invest it in something and hope that it actually makes it, you know.
And don't ever wait like, oh, when I have this, I'll start. Like you always be missing something. Otherwise you'll be a millionaire. Like you know what I mean? You have to just, I'm just gonna start. You just
Just
start.
like when people say, don't wait until it's the right time to have a baby. Like, you know, there's never a right
Exactly.
time. There's never going to be a right
It's
time.
never
for you.
the right time. You're never gonna have enough money. You're never gonna have like all
Yeah.
your ducks in a row. Like never.
I want to do a little quick shout out because you mentioned taking your passion and whatever you're interested in, trying to figure out how to turn that into something. So my daughter, if you raise your hand real quick, this is Tallulah. So Tallulah is a volleyball player, and she noticed that it was really hard to get recruited. She's a high school volleyball player, and she wanted to go play in college. And it's really hard to get the attention when everybody wants to do that, right? And so she turned that idea into something that now she's doing on the side. And it's basically, she makes armbands that you wear over your uniform when you're playing at tournaments. And the armbands have a little digital product passport in them. And a coach can walk up to you at a tournament and touch his phone on your on your armband and learn about you. Like they can see your highlight reels and your bio, so it helps you get recruited. And this is something she's trying to grow into her business one day, but she doesn't need to quit school and, quit jobs and start just doing that. It's just this side gig that is slowly going to hopefully take off and become the main gig, right? So So figuring out how to take something that you love, like with volleyball, and that you're passionate about, sustainability and fashion, and turning it into your side gig, and then work on it here and there when you can, and hopefully one day it becomes your gig. Any other questions? Yes.
So could you please go back?
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, that one. So when I saw that picture, the one with the award, with the wooden thing, I just could really feel the joy and the happiness. And I'm very big on emotion, and I can really see, and I kind of imagined how it was like in that moment, and how, the crowd, everything, like pictures and, all that. Like I just, like really, it's all about the small moments, even if you want to make something big. And I just really felt the emotion in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It's really nice because a lot of the times our work is just like nobody notices. It's just there, But it's really cool when your peers, especially your peers, because it's people you work with and are in the trenches. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and you just got recognized for it.
Mhm.
So that's rewarding. That's motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't you had an award at every turn?
I'm kind of obsessed with work.
No, an award. She said, haven't you won an award for almost every job that you've had? It seems like you got.
Yeah. I get pretty obsessed with work, and I get really into it.
It's very
Thank
impressive.
you.
Yeah. Especially from some big companies like that.
Yeah. And you guys, that's the thing too. Like nowadays, I'm older. I don't think I have it in me, the energy to work for these big companies. But when you're beginning, if you can get on one of these big companies, do it, because that's where you're gonna learn the most. They're like big boats, and you can learn from every position, and it looks good on your resume, and then you can go and do whatever you want.
I have a question. So when I was going through all your slides and stuff, I noticed some pictures of an icon of skateboarding world
Yes.
from Dogtown. Can you tell us a little bit, CR?
Yeah, his name is Craig Stesic, or CR Stesic. I was gonna put a picture of him in there, but
Didn't make it into the slide.
didn't make it. But he's worth it. So he's the guy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with skateboarding. He was the guy. Skateboarding because of him, because he was the guy he was a photographer who was around in Venice Beach in the started photographing guys like Jay Adams and Peralta and all the guys that are like the top guys for skateboarding. And he started Skateboarder magazine. So everything around like California culture, like vintage cars, skateboarding, social distortion, like the whole music, like everything came from Stesic. And I was lucky enough to work with him at Hurley. He was just there as like a creative cloud,
Oh, really?
but he lived really far, and so did I. So we were both like 7 in the morning. We're the only people there. So it was amazing because we did lots of photography projects. We did lots of like sewing weird things together. He would ask me to do, and of course I did it. And this is something important. Like throughout my career, everywhere I went, I had like a mentor. Like I met someone special, and they were like the person. And through Hurley and years after that, like still today, Stesic is like a big art mentor. And you guys I cannot emphasize enough how special like old people are. I know it's hard when you're
You just call them
younger.
old.
Stasik is like almost 80. So I'm telling you guys, there's another guy. His name is Paul Williams. He is a songwriter and he's another mentor of mine. But Paul Williams wrote music for Elvis Presley and the Carpenters and Daft Punk. So he's like 86 and he's still writing music. But like the value that these older people have, like a lot of the times we're like, oh, there's just a grandma. It's not, you guys. Like, take the time, get to know these old people, get to, like, they know what's up. They didn't have internet, they had to learn it like the old school way. So, like, really finding these people is something that really helped me in my career because
It's
I
back to
learned a
that
lot.
go to the root of the trend, you know, where it
Absolutely.
started from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn about the OG. All right. Any other questions? Okay, one. All right. We'll do this as our last question.
What if I wanted to say, go to Coach and say, I have a design and show them? Do they appreciate someone having that kind of boldness and stepping forward? Or are they like, no? You know, how does that work if there's something, I have a great idea and it's something I want to give to a company?
Well, one, they'll probably take it and not pay you or give you credit. Like if it's really good, they'll take it and not pay you or give you credit. But this is my problem with like shareholder company. You know what I mean? If you send something to a company that's owned by a group of investors, forget it. Like nobody's even gonna open it. Like nobody's gonna see it. It's unless you do a lot of homework and you find one person who is in charge of what you want to do and you go straight to them. If you just send
With
like
an NDA.
yeah with like yeah timestamps and a letter from a lawyer, preemptive cease and desist. No, seriously, like unless you go to the right person, and even if you go to the right person, you might not hear anything. But if you go like info@coach.com, forget it. You get like, thank you for reaching us. We will talk to you soon, and they won't. But if you go to a company like Dixxon, if you do something for Dixxon and you send it over to them, they'll see it. They might uh, make it. They might take it and make it and not tell you. And, you know, same problem everywhere, right? But it's more likely somebody will see it. So if you guys have somebody that you really like that you want to work with, and it's somebody like well known, find somebody in their team and try to get like, don't go to the person directly, but like go to their team and see if you can get in. But again, a lot of these companies like Coach or whatever, J. Crew, they're all in New York. So unless you're there, they're like,
It's hard
nah.
to figure out who the right person is
Yeah.
to talk to at those companies. But you got to protect yourself too, you know, so they don't take that idea. Plus, she said, did they have agents for that?
Yeah, I had one, but I cannot tell you how she helped me, if ever at all. Every job I got was through a friend. Except for Dixon that I applied and whatever, but like every job I ever had was a recommendation. So like again, if you're going to school, if you're wherever you go, make friends with people. Like don't be the loner, don't be a, you know, rude. If you're rude to somebody, I will guarantee in 5 years you're gonna need that person and you're gonna look like a fool.
And this industry is very small. Everybody
It's
knows everybody. You're going to run
very
into
small.
each other over and over. So all of your friends from
Yeah.
school, you'll probably work with one day, and everybody is going to know you. So always be very nice. And
Yeah. And this is a small town too. Like, you know, in LA it's small, but like this is way small.
right.
So
But
like
even people that I work with in LA, I know here.
people
So
are
It's a
everywhere.
small
It's
industry.
crazy.
Mhm.
People are everywhere.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you again one more time for taking the time. I know you have a baby and it's hard to get away, and I appreciate like all the effort, that you made to do this and to educate everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give her a big hand.
Yes, thank you guys for coming.
And you guys check out all the stuff that she brought. It's beautiful. And hang out for a few minutes and mingle. If anybody wants to see the factory downstairs, I'll take you down and show it to you if you've never been here. And please come every last Thursday of every month to these behind the scenes. We don't do it in the summertime, but we have 2 or 3 more until the summertime. So make sure you're coming to the next one too. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Ask me any questions. Grab a CD if you have a CD player.
I love you. You have like a random these CDs. That's why you can't get rid of them. Oh, you must be. Yeah. Okay. You guys, hold on. Can everybody get together like in a big group photo? We used to like to do this. Yeah.
Okay, I dated him. I dated Nick Provost from. He's a skateboarder. No. No, you don't think you have another.
And we're gonna have you stand over and we're gonna take a big group photo. You guys kind of gather around Renata. Oh, the light. Okay, hold on. Never mind. This way. Light. You see I'm there. Everybody get around.